Hey everybody, let's talk about a couple of things Capcom could easily add to Dragon's Dogma 2 with very little effort that would make the game so much better. Do you ever feel like you're going backwards? Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes less is not more. Sometimes more is more. I feel like Capcom should definitely bring back the notice boards to the Dragon's Dogma series. It was a very simple addition to the game that gave you something to do, and the rewards were actually really decent. In some cases you got money, some cases you got rare items, maybe weapons, maybe even an idol that give you cheaper prices and improve the inventory of the shops. I felt like the notice boards were a big hole in Dragon's Dogma 2. I think they're very missed, and I think Capcom should really consider bringing those back because it just gives us more reason to explore, more reason to go to certain areas that we wouldn't need otherwise. But what do you guys think? Okay, so this one is a little bit tricky, but go to options, photo mode. There's a lot of really cool options in here. I highly recommend you guys going here to check it out because they have updated some things recently, like adding the free camera, which has been invaluable to me in my videos recently. However, I started to notice that there are options that are available in photo mode that could possibly migrate over to the game options, which would allow us to further customize how we want our game to look and feel. So what do I mean by that? If you go to effects 1, we have the ability to turn the vignette on and off, and this has been something that I've seen a lot of people complain about in the game because they don't like the vignette. They want to turn the vignette off because that darkness is just, it gets old after a while, and being able to turn that off, gives a sense of clarity to the game that you wouldn't have otherwise. And then of course, there's options to turn the bloom on and off, but also I noticed that there are a series of filters here which allow you to customize your photographs. But I started thinking it could be interesting if this was available to us in the game options so that we could change how we would like the appearance of the game to be. And I've seen a lot of people post videos on YouTube about how Dragon's Dogma 2 is it's a horror game, because there could be a lot of monsters attacking you, and it's just a little daunting sometimes. So why wouldn't you put like a vintage filter on the game, or a sepia or black and white or something, make things even more dramatic? Sure, you could do that in a video editor after the fact, but why not experience that firsthand? I mean, changing the mood like that, I feel like could do so much for the game. And I know some people will say, Dragon's Dogma art style is kind of lacking in saturation. When I saw the dark filter here, I thought that was particularly interesting because it's like more saturation but deeper darks. And I don't know, I just feel like having these options available to us while we're playing the game and not just in photo mode could do a lot for the game. And on top of that, before I forget, if you go to system options, camera, I personally would like the camera distance to come back a little bit more, and it does when we go into caves and stuff like that. So why not allow us to pull the camera a little closer? We can already push it further away, and some people may want it even further away. I feel like giving us more room to decide how we want the game to look and feel will allow players to tell their own stories in a unique way that you really wouldn't see in a lot of other games. And anything to make this franchise stand out more and get more eyes on it, I feel like is a good thing. But what do you guys think? So the reason I made the Bandit Stole Your Fashion video was to show you guys what I'm about to show you right now. And this is probably going to get a little twisted up, but that's okay. Somebody's got to talk about this. So if you go to equipment, everybody knows, or should probably know by now, that if you go to certain helmets, you can click on those and then you can go to raise visor, or you can go to lower visor. Now in the original Dragon's Dogma, it would automatically do this. It would raise your visor whenever you went into town. And I would personally like it if they brought that option back, or, so that it would automatically do it, or give us a faster way to do that instead of having to go to the options and do it. And having said that, if I go to remove this cape here, right now, it's removed the right shoulder here, but if I back out and I go to my bow, I've got my shoulder piece back. If I go to the options again and then I go back to my cape here, it's going to remove that shoulder piece. There are instances of this all over the place. Some of the bigger capes will remove both of the shoulder pieces. The archer will remove the right elbow armor piece. See right there. If I go to my sword and shield, I've got the shoulder piece here removed, and I've got the elbow piece on my left arm and the iron glove removed on my left arm. Now, what I'm saying is there's got to be some way, because if these options are already in the game, right? The sword and shield is going to have its own armor setup. The bow is going to have its own armor setup. I'm pretty sure those are the only two that do it, but I could be wrong about that. You think I would know after analyzing this stuff for months, but what I'm saying is, like the helmet here, if we go go to raise and lower it, surely there should be some option available to us, whether it's just whatever is already in the game that's predetermined that the bandits have access to, right? Maybe we click on the armor and then we go down to some option, and then there's a subset of options, or, you know, something we can just scroll through. Maybe there's like a secondary offshoot menu that pops up here, and we have option 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just goes through all of those options. And each of them would have a, you know, a weight distribution with that as well, because if you're removing pieces as you kind of scroll down the list, then surely that would affect the weight as well, right? So it's not just something cosmetic, it could also be something that helps us with our weight, because as you guys know who've played this game for, you know, as long as I have, weight can be an issue sometimes. And I feel like allowing us further options to customize our armor help us in multiple different ways, and, you know, allow people to really create some unique fashion, because it's already here. So if I go to any of these, let's say this one, for example, this one should have, what is this called? The Intrepid Scale Coat. So the Intrepid Scale Coat here has the armor piece from the chest removed because I've got that shoulder piece on there. So if I remove that, it brings that back. And we've seen the bandits in that video that I made, you know, they have a smoother chest piece. So they already have an armor option that we don't even have. Like, so maybe this is, you know, that's a whole nother set of options which we could do. So in this case, it would be having the iron chest piece there with the spikes. We could have the smoother option that the bandits have, and then we could equip the cape here, and then it would give us the option to remove that. So instead of having to go in here and remove this piece, or, you know, switch to this weapon and then to get the fashion that we want, we could have those options already available to us. And instead of having to use a certain weapon to get a certain fashion, we could get that just by selecting the appropriate option. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I kind of stumbled over that a little bit, but that was going to be the most difficult one to explain, I feel like. So those are the top 3 things that I think Capcom could easily add to Dragon's Dogma 2 to make it even better. There's a whole bunch of other things that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to start small, and I want to ask you guys, what do you think Capcom could easily add, easy in quotations obviously, to Dragon's Dogma 2 to make it better? And I'll see you down in the comment town.